This is a six-pack. This is a six-pack. This is the six-pack that we want. In this video, we're gonna get into 3 ways to actually get a six-pack and which one will work best for you. Let's get into it. The first kind of six-pack is what I call the fat man six-pack. Now, these guys are not actually fat, but you've seen big, bulky gym bros with a six-pack. They can seem to have a six-pack even though they're carrying more fat than the average person. How is this possible? How can you do the same? The first thing to notice is that when a big, fat, chunky guy has a six-pack, he is usually absolutely packed with muscle throughout his entire body. He's either an athlete who's maybe or maybe not using some substances to help his muscle production. Otherwise, he's been training in the gym for literal decades and has packed so much muscle across his entire body that his ab muscles are so developed, they are visible throughout the fat layer. So how do you get the fat man six-pack? There's only 2 ways. You're gonna have to dedicate so much effort in the gym over years, literal years, 5 years, 10 years plus, doing compound movements, doing heavy movements that challenge your entire body. This could be things like bench press, squats, deadlifts, barbell rows. All of these movements that challenge your balance will be requiring your abs to stabilize, and it's this work that's been done through lots and lots of years that builds out that core. Having said that, what can you incorporate from the fat man six-pack into your life? Number 1 is heavy compound movements. Put some weight on it so that your body actually has to do heavy weights and balance and not topple from side to side. Next is bracing. You got to make sure you brace the core, tighten the core when you do things like the overhead press, the incline bench press, the barbell rows, to not only protect your spine but to actually make the abs part of the movement. This is why these big guys can have huge abs, is because almost all the exercises they do, they know how to brace and tighten the core, which means they're working the abs all the time, as opposed to a guy who's there just flailing around with machines where he's not even tightening his core. He doesn't even need to balance because the machine takes care of everything. Heavy compound movements, bracing the core, and not overusing machines would be what we can take from the fat man six-pack to get that kind. The second way to get a six-pack, which is what I call the skinny man six-pack. We all know this. Christian Bale in that particular movie, you have friends, right? You go to the swimming pool and then they take their shirt off and they've got a chiseled six-pack, but it doesn't actually look that great because they're very skinny. Like the shoulder area, the chest area is all skinny. It kind of just falls like a skeleton, and then they have defined abs, but because the proportions in the upper half of their upper body is not good, they just look like the skinny guy. I mean, to be honest, these guys, if they focused on building muscle in the right places to build that aesthetic foundation, these guys would actually have a great physique because they don't have to go through the trouble of getting lean, which is quite difficult for a lot of people. If you're a skinny guy watching this, or if you're just like an average chubby guy that actually wants to build that V-taper aesthetic physique so that, you know, whether you have abs or not, it still looks great, then check out the aesthetic body blueprint below. I literally built a system just to help you get that amazing V-taper aesthetic body. Anyways, how do you get the skinny man six-pack? The guy has the six-pack because he has low body fat. Simple as. He hasn't got much fat covering the belly, so the ab muscles, which all humans already have, are more visible. So what can we take from the skinny man's six-pack? Get the hell lean, drop your body fat. Now, if you've looked at these skinny guys, there's a reason they're skinny. Usually they move a lot. You can talk about the metabolism, usually they move quite a lot, whether it's in sports or just in their daily life. They're quite active people, and in a lot of cases, okay, I know there's the old skinny guy who eats like crap all the time. I have friends like that too, but usually a lot of the time the skinny guys end up eating at maintenance or at a deficit. What you have to do to get the skinny man's six-pack is to eat at a caloric deficit long enough until the belly fat goes away and the ab muscles come out. So I'm helping a guy in my coaching community, for instance, to lose his belly fat, and he's been saying for a while now that the lower belly fat is just not disappearing, and I'm reminding him that is just the last place it's gonna go from. For most guys, it's really the very last place. You know, you lose it from your face, your arms, your chest, your back, your legs, and then it goes from the belly and then the lower belly. What can you do? There are no things you can do to target the fat on your belly, but what can you do? The fat man six-pack, you can target the belly muscles, the ab muscles. That you can do. That doesn't target the fat on your belly, but it targets the muscle under your belly, which will make the muscle more visible. And that leads us perfectly onto the final way to get a six-pack, which is what I call the lean and aesthetic six-pack, the perfect six-pack. This is the one that you want. It's when it's visible, it's chiseled, but it's not skinny. It's got a bit of volume. It looks good. It's just the perfect six-pack. It's the aesthetic version. What do you do to get the six-pack that you see on this and this and this, which is what you want, is you have to combine the fat man six-pack with the skinny man six-pack, and there you have it. That's how you get the perfect six pack. What does that mean? You have to be actively training your ab muscles like the fat man, not doing 1,000 sit-ups, 200 crunches, and all this kind of what you see on movies, you know, these boxing trainers doing all these like hundreds of reps. Okay, I mean, if you're already an athlete who's fairly chiseled, you can do that, but that's more for endurance. That's more for cardio to excel in the sport that they do, like boxing. If you actually want your ab muscles to generally get bigger, so it shows even with a little bit of fat, you got to be training like the fat man. Hit the heavy weights, hit the compound movements, learn how to brace your core. Don't always be using machines. Actually engage in complex movements that require your balance. Compound movements in the 6 to 10 rep range, which is where the strength is built. My favorite exercise that is specific to the abs is the weighted knee raise. I wedge dumbbells between my feet and I do knees to chest. Hanging leg raises is really good. Then you got to combine that stuff that you're doing with the skinny man guide of lowering your body fat. So you do those processes at the same time, such that the belly muscles are going bigger and bigger and your fat layer is getting thinner and thinner, and you reach that perfect middle ground where there's a bit of fat covering the abs, but the abs are still visible. And this is the final level, which is what I call the breathing six-pack level. You're not there with the best lighting and tensing so that they can see your abs. You're not even conscious of it. You're just breathing. You take your shirt off, you walk around, you breathe, and the six-pack just zooms in and out. That's what I call that kind of 10%, 12% body fat level. I think it looks the best. And at that point, you won't care what percentage body fat you are, because you'll look in the mirror and be like, boom, I like that shit. That's how you get 3 ways to get a six-pack. So put in the comment below which one you have. Do you have the fat man six-pack, the skinny man six-pack, or the perfect six-pack? Like I said, if you want the system to actually build that aesthetic body that has the breathing six-pack level, check out Aesthetic Body Blueprint. See you in the next video.